Hi everyone.
Hello,
Nice
everyone.
to have you back.
Hi, Ruth. Let me act like I've not seen you today.
Right. Yeah, and I think it was just yesterday we had a meetup. Honestly.
Really?
Yeah, like it's not been a while, so
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true. That was like Was it this month we had our first meetup in a while, or was it like late May? I can't
no, it
remember.
was it was the last one that we took like a long break. Like it was
Oh.
like 2 months we didn't have any meetup. And
Mm-hmm.
then we had May and now we are just doing it back to back.
Yeah. It's summertime. It's go time. So let's get
Mhm.
into it. Uh,
Yeah, we're excited. Welcome everyone. Sorry for our chit chat, but yeah, welcome, welcome everyone to another GitHub Africa meetup, and this one is a very special one. And yeah, we're excited to get started. I think Martins, you have to share your screen, so let's get started.
yeah. My screen should be on. Yeah.
Yep,
So
it is.
basically you guys know us. We've been with you guys for over a year now.
Yeah.
Where in case this is your first time, I've been with GitHub for around 4 years now. I would say I'm a retired crypto enthusiast at this point.
Okay, you don't want to do it anymore.
um it's too crazy at this point, but we'll see, maybe there'll be a bounce back. But Ruth, feel free to introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. I am Ruth. I am always Ruth. I'm a GitHub star. I am an open source advocate. I love open source, everything open source. And this is a special edition for open source. So, yeah, I'm excited. And I also do technical writing. And I'm excited to, be here and take you all through today.
Oh,
So, it's think I lost your screen. Oh my god. My tabs are so much that I can't even keep up with these screens anymore.
yeah.
Okay, so today we are going to, like always, we have news for you. So we are going to be taking you through news, and we're also going to be having a speaker talk to us about today is a special day and a special month because we are GitHub is celebrating open source maintainers, and
Mm,
open source powers the world, right? I love open source. I do open source every single time. I think there was a time I said everything I want to do, everything focuses on open source for me. Like, you wake me up in the middle of the night to just kind of like explain what open source is. I'd
yeah.
say, all right. So we'll be having a maintainer, a leader talking to us today about open source maintainership, and it's going to be an interactive session. You get to ask your questions, all about open source, to Marlene. And usually we do our networking sessions, and yeah, you get to ask more questions and get to play Kahoot games. So
Mm.
yeah, so that's all we have for you today. It's
Yeah,
packed.
and just to add to that, we're going to be having the networking session live on YouTube or wherever you're viewing from. So we're not going to go off the live stream. So we're going to have it on the live stream as well. And also let us know where you guys are watching us from. Want to know
It's in the chat. I'm looking.
let us know which countries in Africa you are tuning in from. If even though you're not from Africa, just let us know
Mhm.
specifically. So, without further ado,
Yeah, let's go to the news. GitHub news.
yeah, which one do you want to go for? Do you want to go for
I'll take
both?
I'll take achievements. Don't worry. I'm I don't want to talk about different, but
Oh
I'll
yeah,
take-
because you guys are like security. Okay, so it's very important as open source maintainers that you guys care about security.
yeah.
And Dependabot is has always been a tool that you have for free as an open source developer, and even as a GitHub user, right, you can always use Dependabot, turn on Dependabot, and it helps you find all of your vulnerable dependencies and packages and open source packages that you might have, and it's very
Mhm.
easy for you to automate that process. Actually, Dependabot is pretty automated. So once you turn it on, it's just a matter of you like going to click merge pull request because it automatically opens up pull requests for you. So um, it doesn't take a lot of effort. Please, we encourage open source maintainers to take a stab at Dependabot and just go through the process of enabling it. And if you just let me just give a quick rundown of like how you enable Dependabot, for example. So the first thing you do is to like go to your settings tab, within your repository or within your organization, and then you choose code. I'm going to paste this in the chat as well, just
Mm-hmm.
in case someone wants to like go through the process now. Basically,
Yeah.
you click on the security on the settings tab, you choose code security and analysis, and with just a couple of clicks, you'll be able to enable dependency graph, which basically looks through all your dependencies, and then you can also turn on Dependabot alerts.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Dependabot alerts helps you to it tells you about vulnerable dependencies. And then I think the third aspect is you can also get Dependabot security updates. So basically, this security update automatically creates a pull request that you just go click merge pull request, and then you've taken care of that vulnerability. So it's very easy. I'm going to paste some of this in the chat so that you guys can
So
turn into some for your repositories and your projects. So Ruth, over to you for the next one.
yeah, GitHub is always, making sure everything is secure. So yeah, I'm really excited about this one I'm about to talk about because I remember I think that was in 2020 when I just started coding. So something happened and people were sharing. I think that was the Arctic code contribution badge, and people were sharing it all over the internet on Twitter. People were, I was so jealous because I had I had literally nothing to show. Right, I was like, okay, what is this? And then I found out what it was. I was like, okay, I don't have it on my profile. I'm
Boy,
like, oh my god. But I really wanted to have it, right? So GitHub has rolled out achievements. So with achievements you can showcase, different things on your profile. There are like three of them. There's one YOLO. I have YOLO already. I have access to it. Yeah, so with GitHub achievements you can showcase gives developers opportunity to showcase their favorite projects, the contributions they've made, the things they've done. You can highlight it on your profile, readme, or you can share it on social media. You can boast about it. You can, just the way people talk about their green squares. There are a whole lot of people posting their green squares on Twitter. You can also use achievements to kind of like share and tell people about what you're doing. So GitHub is going to be rolling more out soon. There's just this three available for now, and so you can check it out when it's out, when it's rolled out. And yeah, that's it. I love achievements. I already have the YOLO one, so
so
yep.
is the yellow one the only one you have right now? Or you okay with more?
But what are you trying to do? This is the live chat.
Is YOLO like you only live once, or it's different? It's a different connotation.
Yeah, I think so. I have to go
Because
back and
I
check
know
that.
that was like a crypto thing that you only live once. Everyone's like YOLO, 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 but it's all good though.
Like really referencing crypto a lot today, Martin.
Yeah, because crypto is like going crazy. Yeah,
You'll be
it's
fine. You'll be fine. It's one of those days. You'll be fine.
it's all good. All right, so you
Let's
want
go
to
to
our
our speaker.
speaker?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
Sure, I want to take that, and I'm going to be talking about a lot of going back to when I started coding a lot, because I started with Python, and Marlene was one of those folks I followed
Mm.
when I started coding in Python. Um I was following Marlene and seeing all she was tweeting about, and I'm really excited that Marlene gets to talk to us about her maintainership experience. Like I said, this call today is going to focus on open source. how maintainers do what they do the superhero thing they do. So
Exactly.
we are having Marlene today. So Marlene is a Zimbabwean software engineer. She's an explorer. She's a speaker based in the city of Harare. I know I'm older than that, but I'm so sorry. I'm sure Marlene is going to teach me. And Marlene is also a director and the vice chair for Python Software Foundation, and is currently working as a developer advocate at Voltron Data. She also co-founded Zimbo Pi. Marlene does a whole lot of things. Oh my god, Marlene is going to tell us how she does all these things. So yeah,
Exactly.
let's welcome Marlene, and let's have our awesome chat about open source maintainership.
Great.
Hi,
Hi,
Marlene.
hi.
So
Hi,
Marlene,
Martin. Hi, Ruth. Hi, everyone watching.
Yeah, so welcome, Marlene. Thank you for joining us and coming to share your experience on open source maintainership. So we're going to kick it started, with it's going to be interactive because I do open source. Martin, do you do open source?
yeah, I just I did a little bit of coding with GitHub like in 2018, 2017, 2018, and then I was like, okay, I don't like coding. I'm just gonna go towards the business side. Like you guys make the software, give it to me, and I'll take care of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so but open source is like knowing GitHub helped me, learning about GitHub in the first place helped me to work at GitHub. So that was literally like my pitch, my intro was like, yeah, I used GitHub during my boot camp, and I learned a lot about how developers have to have GitHub as their resume, as
Mhm.
where they show all of their work, and that basically got me the job at GitHub. So
Yeah, great.
it's a beautiful thing to learn about open source and how you are helping the Python software foundation overall. So I mean, if you don't mind, if you can introduce yourself, we've introduced you, but just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we can go through some questions overall.
Sure. So, yes, like you said, my name is Marlene. I am based in Harare.
Oh, I think
It's a tricky one. But I'm based in Zimbabwe right now. But I work remotely for Voltron Data. I work as a developer advocate for them,
Mm,
and Voltron is very cool. It's a company that was formed by different companies coming together, and like one of the creators of the company is the founder of Pandas. So
Oh,
very
nice.
cool. Like if you if
Like
you work with Pandas, it's been very cool working with like the core team for Pandas as well in my work. But I also, like I mentioned, have been I volunteer quite a lot in the Python ecosystem. So I'm currently on the board of directors for the Python Software Foundation, which is the nonprofit behind Python. So
mm,
I do a lot of work there with helping out with the board, making sure that um, events or community spaces are as inclusive as possible.
yeah,
Um, I'm very passionate about Africa in general. I'm
yeah.
one of the co-founders of PyCon Africa as well, and just
very,
really love, um, spreading Python across just generally. I Before I actually became a developer advocate, I was working as a Python software engineer
mm,
for NVIDIA. So I did, and the project I was working on there and was helping maintain was called QDF. So it was like a Python project, but for like GPUs and
mm,
Python.
Mhm.
So it was very, very cool to kind of work on that. And that was like full-time engineering. So that was
yeah.
a good experience in terms of maintaining a project.
Hmm.
And I think I learned a lot with that too. So,
Yeah, Nvidia is huge as far as like
right.
graphics card GPUs are concerned, and
Mhm.
always at the cutting edge of like all of this chips technology. So that's really cool. So it
Mhm.
looks like you've been in the open source community for a long time. But like, can you go back to like when you were just like looking to get started, like how did you even uh
I want to hear the story.
yeah,
How
Right.
was you like
did you
was
find
it
How did I
open source?
college, like when you self-taught, how did you get
exactly?
started?
Yeah, so I got started when I was studying before I went to college. I went to study in the US. And when
Mm-hmm.
I was there, I was studying, biology. I thought I wanted to be a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
you know, ended
Like
up changing my mind.
me,
Yeah,
me too. I wanted to be a doctor too.
exactly.
So we all
And Africans want to be doctors because of our parents. They're either a doctor or a lawyer. And so
My dad was like, Martis, you have to be the doctor of the family. Come
yeah,
on.
I feel like that's like African parents across the board. So it's just like wild. I've met so many engineers actually that have wanted to be doctors before. So it's just funny.
Exactly.
yeah.
Um, but changed my mind and just realized that it wasn't something I was enjoying much. It was quite, there are just things about it that I didn't feel like, okay, this is something I could enjoy doing for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a time where I was kind of exploring what I wanted to do and really came back to Zimbabwe for a bit and really was looking at ways I could kind of empower the people in my community. I was specifically wanting to empower young women, and I
Yeah.
wasn't really sure how to do that. And it's a very long story, but to cut to the end of it, I ended up starting this nonprofit that the goal was to teach girls Python. And I didn't at the time really know a lot about programming. I wasn't coding myself,
Mm.
but I had met someone who's part of the Python community here in Harare. And so they introduced me to Python. They introduced me to the community that was local, which was really new at the time.
Mm.
And I knew I wanted to do something related to technology because when I had studied outside the country, I'd seen like the power of technology and how that can dramatically change someone's life. So I started this nonprofit called Zimbo Pi, was kind of helping out, and then decided myself that I wanted to also learn to code and start contributing too. So I started to self-teach myself, then ultimately decided to go back to school and study computer science. And I focused on Python and really enjoyed it from that perspective.
Mm.
But throughout that process, I was really first part of the open source, my open source journey was just speaking at conferences and going to conferences and participating that way and
Mm-hmm.
kind of learning about other people's projects. And then I started building some projects that like I've archived on my GitHub. But actually,
We
Segon
all do
was
that.
like exactly. Segon was gonna be speaking as well, and I had at some point wanted to make like a version of Chakra UI. Like I wanted to like create something similar to that, and kind of was working on my own like projects by myself, and also trying to get different people to. And so that's kind of how I got started before I then got hired and started working at NVIDIA at the time.
That's great. That's a very inspiring journey. And yeah, trying to solve challenges you saw, and then you got into software. That's I could relate. I can relate to that as well. Getting into, and yeah, I started with Python too. Python is very friendly. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's open source, so there are a whole lot of possibilities, a whole lot of things to do. So our conversation today is around, while it's open source, also around like open source maintainership and leadership, right? So
Yeah.
how did the was there a point where you said, okay, this is the point where I wanted to be a leader? Like when it occurred to you, or was it something someone said, okay, do you want to handle this, and then you just move into it? Or what was that point for you where you wanted to, you knew, okay, you could do this? Or yeah, so would love to hear that experience.
Yeah, well, I think there's like two sides of it. Definitely from a coding perspective, I when I started actually working on a significant project at NVIDIA, for example, I just started contributing to the project and just, getting comfortable with the project in general, and really enjoyed just contributing and doing bug fixes and, like working on features and things like that. But then at some point it was my manager that kind of just was like, okay, you also like kind of pushed me into the deep end and was like, you should also now start doing like code review, and just also just being part of the discussion in terms of the direction of the project, in terms of some of the things with design or choices and things like that. And so that to me was really good for the coding side of things, because I don't know if I would have ever by myself decided, okay, now I'm ready to be a maintainer. I think I needed someone to kind of champion that for me and say, hey, now you're ready to do this. And
Yeah.
I think like on my own, I just kept thinking, oh, I just need more time, or there's just more people that like, there are people who are just could be better at this than me, or maybe I'll just won't be giving the reviews that make sense or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think just having my manager believe in me, having my teammates believe in me was a really big thing. And this is the same as well for the community aspect as well, with how I got involved with the Python Software Foundation. Was someone said that I should nominate myself. And at the time, I was just doing Zimbo Pi. I hadn't like done anything outside of the continent in terms of a software thing. And I remember like looking at the other people that were nominating themselves, and they were like people from Google, like these huge companies, someone from Walt Disney, or American companies, all the usual culprits in terms of like big tech. And I remember just thinking, oh, I don't know what I can contribute. And just, the person that had suggested that to my friend Lorena, she really encouraged me, and she's like, no, you should definitely do it. You should definitely just run. And I felt like, that to me was exactly what I needed. And I ended up just being like, okay, there's what am I gonna lose if I don't run,
Exactly.
And then just ended up just running, and actually then got voted in, and it really was, yeah, I'm so glad I did. Really glad I
Yeah,
did.
definitely. That's really interesting.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, like your first month as a, like your manager encouraged you to, told you that you were ready to be a maintainer. How was it? How was it like, actually maintaining, um, this very important open source foundation platform overall as a maintainer for the first month?
I think it was good. I think I was very nervous at first about giving code review,
Mm-hmm.
just because I was just nervous that like the feedback I was going to be giving was not like correct, or so I would really like initially when I first started, I was just focusing on like typos or just focusing on like very small issues that I would see. And
Mm-hmm.
then, so initially I was very nervous about that, and just, I don't feel like I contributed, I reviewed confidently,
Yeah.
but with time, I think over that month, I did get better. I did also just, feel more comfortable just reading people's code. Like after a while, um, I think I just got used to it, I
Yes.
guess, and then just got a bit more comfortable. And I thought it was, after a while, I started to really enjoy it and just give any genuine feedback that I did. Something that I would do is like, I also learned to just get to a place where I was more comfortable is like, if I would, for me, I know not everyone can do this, but like for me, if there was like someone, created a PR and I needed to review that PR, like usually
Mm-hmm.
I would then like grab their code and look at it locally. on my own computer and just like experiment with that and see what things were coming up on my end, and
Yeah.
then comment based off of like having kind of just experimented on the code. And that also made me feel a bit more comfortable rather than just like taking it a look on it
Really
just
trying
on
it.
GitHub, but also like playing
Exactly.
around with the code on my in my local environment as well.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Getting over that
Yes.
initial um imposter syndrome and trying to overcome that, that's
Exactly. That's a lot usually. Like I
exactly.
think one thing I've learned from what Marlena shared is like learning while doing, right? Like you're doing it
Exactly.
and then you're learning. You're not like, okay, I'm not qualified for this, and then you just run away. But yeah,
Yeah.
you took it and you kept going on learning how to do it even while you were a maintainer. So help everyone is taking notes. I am. Yeah, so I know you touched upon like some challenges you experienced, right? So what were like the other challenges you faced with being a maintainer, and what measures did you take to kind of like overcome them? You know, how did you try to overcome your challenges you faced?
I think some of the challenges I faced were that like there was, for example, like there was just a season, or like at the company I worked for, there was just times where it was called like burn down, and then like there was like a new release of this of the package that we were working on that was going to come out, and
Mm-hmm.
so everyone would be trying to get their PRs in or like merged at during burn down. And so during that time, I feel like I would always kind of put a lot of pressure on myself to do like a lot of work in that time, and to like review as much as I can and also be writing as much code as I can myself. And I feel like, and a lot of people as well would be asking for reviews and things like that as well during this specific period.
Mm.
And so I think that can be quite challenging if you have like, I don't know for other projects, if you like have high and low seasons where you in a specific season you're getting a lot of PRs to a project, or lower seasons where you're just not. And I think sometimes the higher seasons can be a bit more stressful and a bit more challenging, just because you kind of have to balance like, okay, there's a new release coming out, but I want to be able to like be really diligently reviewing and not just like merging PRs or reading or like giving reviews just for the sake of getting a PR merged by the release. So I think that
Mm-hmm.
was a bit of a challenge, I would say.
Yeah, that's
Def-
definitely a big challenge, because it's just like, and for like enterprise software, there's always like periods where there's like a major release coming, a new version, an update, and like I can imagine our software engineers like obsessing over every issue, issue that
Yeah.
code have. Maybe run a test or whatever to just make sure that those PRs, like nobody's like doing something crazy, injecting the malicious code the entire database. So I can definitely see the possibility of like burnouts, and like you know how did you deal with like burnout during those like periods of like high pressure, and how do you encourage other developers to, or maintainers to, like deal with that overall?
Right. Well, I think one thing, the nice thing with uh, a lot, well, so the companies that I've worked for is they do have like generous personal time off.
Okay.
And I've noticed that a number of people, even the other engineers on my team, that uh, they would like work really hard until like the release date, and like because
Mhm.
it's so seasonal as well, like you can work really really hard until the release date and then
Mm,
take some time off right after. And I would see like
exactly.
tons of them would like take the week off after the release or something. And I think
Mhm.
that's a great idea, and I started doing that myself as well. Like, and even in the current role I work at Voltron Data, if
Mm-hmm.
I have seasons where I'm like doing a lot of things and I feel really overwhelmed, and I feel like, whew, I'm reaching burnout, or like I have like lots of things to submit at a certain point, then I will do that. And then like maybe right after have a time where I either just take off from work, like just take a week off, or I work from home, like I work remotely. So like even last week I went to Namibia, I went to the beach and
Exactly.
worked from the beach, So sometimes you also just gotta change your environment. You just also have to just be kind to yourself, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so all of those things have helped me.
Software never stops to move forward.
Exactly.
It's always changing. It's always some crazy person is trying to like put something crazy in the code. Updates
Right.
have to keep coming up. It's like a living, breathing thing. So you have
Mhm.
to think about the long term and figure out ways to keep yourself sane, keep your mental health, keep yourself strong
Exactly.
physically, so you can go the long haul. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
really,
I,
really
I really, I really, really like what Marlene said. You have to keep enjoying yourself. Like go to the beach, cause like for me, I
Exactly.
don't do anything on weekends. Like my weekends are just for me. Don't add
Yeah.
any work thing. Like even open source, I just enjoy myself during the weekend. So you always have to take that time for yourself, cause
Yeah.
if you leave yourself, you're just going to sit on your screen all day long, keep getting updated, trying to maintain the community, trying to check the pull request. So yeah, you have to
Exactly.
take that time for yourself. And yeah, I definitely love that. Be kind to yourself as well. So
hmm
we're almost wrapping this up. I've learned a lot from Marlene. So if you have any questions, you can also put it in the chat. Ask Marlene any question about open source, about open source maintainership. So one question that question we have is, you know, what's your advice? Because then there are open source contributors that are trying to come into that point of leadership, or maintenance, or become leaders. What's your advice? How can they break into that, and how can they, because I think a major issue is that imposter syndrome, where,
Mm,
because even though I've been contributing to the community for like a long time, some people do not feel like I am worth being a maintainer, or I have that skill set, which you highlighted that you even learn, during maintaining stuff. So, what's your
Yeah.
advice to OSL, like open source contributors that want to become maintainers in the future, want to explore that?
right. Yeah, I mean, I think this is something that you're always gonna like have to be learning. Like even right now, I've just started really contributing to another project, Apache Arrow, at my current company, and it is open source, and I'm just like starting from scratch, trying to climb my way up to be a maintainer again, hopefully one day.
Yeah.
And I think, some things that I feel are helpful in that process are, you know, first of all, being consistent in your own contributions. So making sure that you are contributing good code, good pull requests to the project, and you're following all of, the code of conduct, you're following uh, the style guidelines, whatever it is, to just show your competence in those initial PRs that you're also contributing to the project. And then
Mhm.
I think after just those initial contributions, on top of that, I think trying to form relationships with the current maintainers of the project. So if you do see like, someone that is like a lead contributor or something like that, sometimes just messaging them. And I think a great thing to do is just to like let them know, hey, I'm really wanting to contribute to this project, and I'd love to become a maintainer one day. Is there anything that I can do to be able to be on that pathway, to be able to be a maintainer in the future? And sometimes they might have advice, sometimes they would be willing to mentor you, but whatever they tell you, I think using their advice, because each project is kind of different. I think there are some projects that
Yeah.
you have like clear steps to be able to become a maintainer, and then there are other projects where you actually need to have a mentor who will vote for you to be a maintainer. So I think just for a specific project that you're working on, just really being confident enough to ask what you can do to become a maintainer of that project as well in the future.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Marlene. That was really helpful. Taking that, asking around, trying to participate in the community as well. That's something I'll also vote on for. And yeah, it's true that different projects have their different ways of getting that maintainer status. So yeah, so I am sure a lot of persons have picked that up. So the bonus question. This one is the interesting one. So what's your favorite GitHub feature that has helped you as a maintainer? What feature of GitHub helps you do your job well as a maintainer? And if you
um,
want an extra thing will be if you want okay, this is an open call to the GitHub folks, right? If you want
if I
what
want,
you want to see that would make the
right,
job easier.
that would be better as well. I think what are my favorite uh things? I think I hmm, I really like, first of all, okay, this is not necessarily just as a maintainer, but just in general, I love the feature on that is, I don't know if everyone knows this, but you can put like a one after one S after GitHub, I think, or something like
Yeah,
that.
and then you get
GitHub ones, and it'll kind of change the layout of the files, so it kind of looks like your editor. So I'm very comfortable using VS Code
mhm,
and like wanting my GitHub interface to look like that, so it's easier for me to look through the files. So I think it's
mhm.
just like when you're on GitHub.com, you just put a 1S after that, and I think it'll show as though you're in a VS Code editor,
Yeah,
which is really
environment.
cool.
That is really
Cool.
um, yeah, so I think that's an awesome feature that I have. And I don't know if that's a feature actually, or I'm not sure how that integrates. But I
mm,
really like that. I also really like what else do I also really like? I love the labels function. I think labels are just great
Mhm,
because being able to sort out your code, make sure that you're able to organize it properly as well,
mm,
is really great. GitHub Actions is also awesome,
yeah.
and just in terms of making sure everything is smooth and you're not having to do everything yourself.
Mhm.
Um, so I think all of those things are features that I really appreciate.
that's
Yeah, great.
really good. That is really good. Yeah,
Yeah, I think
that's one code feature that shows an editor. I think that's like an Easter egg functionality. Only few people know.
Wow.
I think there's some like nifty features like that. We need to like talk to Andrea about that.
sure. I see code spaces. I love code spaces too. Like
Yeah,
I'm
code
also on
spaces.
the beta version, and I don't have, okay, I do have VS Code on my computer, but I don't have to go there to kind of like install everything. I just create a code space, and I can't wait till it's like in public because it's a very really lovely feature that would really help a lot in with open source. So yeah, I love code spaces too. Thanks Damba for that. It's also my favorite feature. So yeah, so we're kind of like looking through questions. I don't think we have any questions. But if you have any questions for Marlene, you can ask them as a comment, and yeah, Marlene will get to see it and answer your question about open source. Andrea has one. Okay, Andrea says, what has been your most rewarding moment as a maintainer? That's a very nice question.
That's a good. I think some of my most rewarding moments have been. So I really remember the first time that I worked on a feature at NVIDIA, and that feature is for this open source project Create. and that feature then was like in the release. Like it was my
Wow.
first like big project that I had contributed to, and have that actually be like used in projects that I knew were super, like people really liked those projects. So
Mhm.
really enjoyed that. I also really enjoyed like I think it's also been really rewarding to be part of a team and like just in general the open source ecosystem. So I loved like at some point I was really getting into looking at pandas, the engineering side of how it's built, and actually thinking of contributing. And I remember the first time I did that, and you know created an issue in pandas. And I think some of the rewarding moments there are just seeing that for me in Africa, I can be part of a project that's like used globally, and I'm just here in Zimbabwe, but like this is a project that's being used everywhere in the world, and I get to be able to contribute to that.
Yeah.
And I've always really thought that was really awesome. And then a final thing I will say as well is just, yeah, also being able to explain, I think,
Mhm.
to, I've been working on something for a while, and working on a specific project for a while, and then I get to share that knowledge with other people. And it like,
Mhm.
and like I've documented that knowledge, and I'm just like someone struggling with something, and I'm just like, oh, no worries, no problem. Like
Yeah.
here's like what I did, because I maybe also struggled with that same thing before, and
Yeah.
that's also
Mhm.
really, yeah, that's also been really rewarding too.
Yeah. That's that's really awesome, Marlene. Yeah.
Mhm.
Really love love how you talked about being in Zimbabwe and like you're shipping code that is being used on a global scale. Like
Yeah.
that's the crazy thing about technology, right? So it's so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Love that too. I think there's one question, not about tech. So someone's asking, what's your favorite country you visited in Africa outside of Zimbabwe?
That's a good question. Wow, what's my favorite country? Oh, I really like Ghana. Like,
Yeah, I
I
used to think you were Ghanaian, honestly. Totally.
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean I love Ghana. I visited for the first time during PyCon Africa, which is where we had our first PyCon Africa, and I just love it. I just think it's like the most African place, like an African feeling place I feel even in that I've been to in a while, just because I don't know why, but like
Mhm.
I feel like Zimbabwe has like a huge like colonial legacy
Mm.
with, in terms of even like the buildings that kind of built like a British style, I would say.
Yeah.
But I feel like Ghana doesn't have as much of that. And um, I just I really enjoyed the food. I enjoyed the culture there. I know the food is similar to Nigeria, and I really liked Nigeria as well. I liked Abuja in Nigeria specifically.
You
I
like to.
won't say like Lagos was a bit much for me. There were so many people, and
Oh yeah,
like
Lagos.
crowded, I would say, in Lagos. So I like a bit more space and trees. So I felt like
Mhm.
Abuja was for me in terms of like the vibe there. But
Yeah.
I would say Ghana is probably my favorite.
Yeah, you're not the only African person who is telling me that Ghana is their favorite country.
Yeah,
I literally
Lagos is so crowded.
some Sierra Leoneans. I have some Sierra Leone friend in the US, and then they went back to Sierra Leone, and they were coming back, and they flew through Ghana. And they were like, "Oh, Martin, like Ghana is really nice. This is
Oh
like
yeah.
the best country in Africa." I'm like, "Oh, come on." but it's a really nice. Like I had to literally leave Nigeria to go do my honeymoon in Ghana, so
Yes, you
so
gotta just
you can think about that. So it's
Oh
a
yeah,
really
I want to go to
cool
Ghana
place.
someday because I've heard a lot about it. But I'm glad you loved Abuja, right?
At
I
least,
I
did.
did. I
at least
loved
I like
Abuja.
Abuja. Well, Lagos is like chaotic.
It's a bit chaotic for me. It's a bit much. The traffic is
Oh
what took it out of the list for me. I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
yeah. I,
Like
I think Eldrick says Ghanaian jollof, but
yeah,
if we're going to have this
I,
conversation,
that's a huge controversy though because I was
very
having
big controversy.
Yeah. Ooh.
because
And you
Nigerian
have
That's
two Nigerians here on the
jollof
call, so
is the best, and there's like Ghana jollof is the best, but but
I mean,
I'm Nigerian. I prefer Nigerian jollof, so I don't
you
know.
should.
it's definitely biased because both of you are Nigerian. So it's not fair. But I would say like I don't know. I won't even comment because I'm like I
Yeah.
won't even comment on whose is better, but I love both. I really like jollof as well. It's a bit spicy though. It is spicy.
Mhm.
Not spicy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh,
So
great.
yeah, is there any other question
Yeah,
on?
I don't think we have any more questions. So thank you so much, Marlene. This chat was really awesome. We got to learn a lot, and we got to interact about open source, which is something I love. And yeah, we are so happy you made our time to come and talk to us about your experience as a maintainer. And we are
Yeah,
definitely sure a lot of persons have learned a lot from your experience as a maintainer. And yeah, well, I'm sure we'll have more maintainers from Africa coming forward. All right. Thank you so much. We usually do play Kahoot games, so if you love to join us, Kahoot games are my favorite moment. So this is
Sure.
the Kahoot games time, and I think Eldrick is coming up. But I don't see Eldrick here. Hmm. Oh, yay!
there we
Hi
go.
everyone.
Hi,
Hey, hey,
Uh,
Andrew.
yes.
I was in the chat just enjoying the
Oh,
session. So thanks again, Marlene. It was a
no
great
problem.
session.
sure. So yeah, Eldrick is our solutions engineer at GitHub, and we're excited. I hope we'll be seeing more of Eldrick moving forward. Right.
Definitely see more of him.
Yeah, that would be
Hopefully.
great. Welcome, Edric. So, we're taking the time, Kahoot games time, where I get to win. Um,
I think I'm gonna stop. I don't know if I should stop sharing my screen,
yeah,
Andrea.
I think, but
Yeah,
it's not
she
showing
should be able
the.
to. Okay, yeah, she's good.
Oh, yep, yeah. So let's go. Let's go there.
So
um,
everyone should
go
just
to
log
Kahoot. Yeah,
in. You can
Kahoot.
on your phone.
And then you put in the code that is on the screen that's displayed there, and yeah, you're in. So just go to Kahoot.it, you put in like the code, the game pin, and then you're in. So let me see.
Okay, let's see.
Aldrich is in just right now. That was fast.
Yeah, first one in. I'm excited to to get it. Ludon, I like that name.
Me too.
That's me, by the way.
Oh wow.
I always come up with all kind of names. Hmm.
Oh, I think I was trying to look at the 7 5. Okay.
Ruth. Yeah, we definitely need more people.
Yeah, please join in. Definitely We definitely want you to play. Please join in, join in.
And there's a prize at the end. So
Yes.
um,
Prizes that I don't get to win. So sad. Oh.
yeah, you probably at this point you probably have a lot of GitHub swag.
I have them. I think I also the funny thing here is I had a lot of the stickers and I was like, what do I do with it? And then I put them on my wardrobe and it's so funny. It's
Hey,
so funny.
share the love, Ruth. Share the love. Give it to developers.
So I'm
Okay.
coming back again. I want to put it on another window so I don't get confused.
Okay, I think we have enough people now. Okay, we have people now. So I think we can probably start. Okay.
No, 1 second, 1 second.
Okay.
I'm trying to get back in. Hmm. I had to remove the other one. So
Okay.
hmm.
Are you Roots user?
No, not that. I usually spell my name correctly. So I'm almost in. Just give me a second. My network was just being crappy. Okay, yeah. Oh, they said a nickname is taken. Hmm.
Oh,
Ruth
there you
name.
go. Ruth
Yeah,
name.
I'm here.
You
I'm
have a few people from
representing.
the chat too, which is cool to see.
Yeah. Okay, so we need more people. There are 10 people, so please come in, come in. You want to play? We need one more. Yeah, 11. Football number. All set. Okay. I think, yeah, we can get started. Hmm.
Okay, here we go.
All
Hmm.
right. Let's see if Edric wins this time.
First time here, first time winning. Let's see.
Oh,
Hmm. That was
I didn't I,
fast.
I didn't even say that question. I'm just guessing.
I saw the question
Oh,
and
got it.
then
That's good. That was just guess for me. All right. Next
this.
question.
Hmm.
Wow.
I love that.
Easy.
Are you disappointed, Edric? It's
I
simple.
wish. Yeah, this is a little offensive.
Hmm.
11 faults is nice.
Oh wow. That was tricky.
See, I'm winning. I always win. Well, it's not over yet, but
Well, just yes. Oops.
Martins, you're going to be disqualified.
Yeah, I need to mute myself at this point.
I only want to see yeses here, especially with all these security things happening.
Yeah,
Exactly.
really? Did somebody say no?
No, no,
See,
I'm
I
coming
have
up.
a fire to my name right now. So,
Jeez,
Oh my
Ruth.
gosh, I'm close to last place. But
hmm. I don't really know this one. I wasn't listening when Martins was saying all this stuff.
I'm just gonna keep quiet so nobody gets it.
Hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, everybody got
Oh,
it.
I lost my streak. My
Wait, what?
God.
What happened?
Oh wow.
Hmm. This okay. If you say type your answer. Now I don't know how to spell the country.
It's a tough one.
Everyone should be good.
You see, I spelled. I'm definitely the one that spelled that wrong thing.
What's in Nigeria?
Nice.
Oh wow, I'm still top. Interested. That's nice.
Oh
Uh,
goodness.
This is for those that were
what's
listening.
this gift? And why you wanna put these gifts there? That's so funny. Crypto
Crypto
enthusiast.
enthusiast.
Someone,
Not
someone,
right now,
someone
no.
is a crypto enthusiast. I knew it. Wait a minute. I failed my own question.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Only students. I think this question always comes up every time.
Yeah.
Use it as the truth.
If you fail this question, no swag for you.
Let's see.
Okay.
Nice.
Mm.
Oh, I'm
Still out
creeping up.
there.
Creeping up.
I have the
Molly, where's
chance,
Molly?
last
I'm
chance to
like
go
in
this
I'm
time.
like in eighth place. But there's been some answers that I'm like, I should have gotten that right, and instead I got it wrong. I don't know.
Uh-oh. It's gonna be tough.
I should get this one. If I don't get it, because I'm the host for that. If I don't get it, then something's wrong with
Oh, I
it.
thought I was gonna beat Ruth, but mm-mm.
You're already giving up. That's not how
Yeah,
we do it.
it's over. It's over at this point. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
All right. Looks like Ruth wins again.
Oh.
Oh, who's root user? Wow, that person collects a lot of shine from me. Root user and root main.
I think we have root user in the chat. Who just raised his hand as well.
Ah,
Really?
you're a runner up. Oh, nice.
Wow.
Congratulations, Damba.
Yeah.
At least
So,
LG did a run up.
oh,
Yeah.
very cool. I guess Ruth user is the only person that's gonna get a swag, not me or Ruth or or the Ruth main.
Unfortunately. But yeah, it was really awesome. Congratulations, Damba. I think you can email. I think Andrea is going to put in how you get your swags, and yeah, we're excited. We have a winner. Even though our speaker did not win, we still appreciate you.
Yeah.
Next time it's okay.
Yeah, sure. And thank you so much again, Marlene. And like we said, we have a next event. It's going to be a Twitter space. And for everyone is excited about Web3, I think Web5 is coming. I'm just so confused.
Well,
I saw a tweet about Web5 and I was confused. Right. Well,
these engineers need to calm down.
exactly. Right. So if you're interested in Web3, we have a Twitter space from GitHub community. So you should follow GitHub community on Twitter. They're going to be having a Twitter space on Saturday, June 18th. And if you're interested in Web3, DevRel in Web3, which is something interesting. right now. So you can follow GitHub community and check out the tweet. You see that Twitter space, and would be excited to have you there. And yeah, so that's it for today. Super packed open source.
All right,
Thank you
guys.
everyone for
Goodbye.
joining.
Bye from me.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye.
Everyone.
Yep.